Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a happy Christmas, holidays, whatever it is you happen to do, and we're here to review some WWE.
Have a joyful diurnal procession.
Indeed. We're going to start with the pay-per-view and work our way to NXT, which is, and truthfully, our main event. And we start off with Clash of Champions, which opened up with, we're skipping over the pre-show. I didn't watch the pre-show.
I watched the pre-show.
Okay,
I didn't watch the pre-show, but I watched the Mojo Rawley Zack Ryder match.
Take us through Mojo versus Zack Ryder.
It was really fucking good. I really enjoyed it. There was, we had Zack Ryder immediately going after him, which makes sense, but Mojo spent the majority of the match, the initial, bit, this was only like 7 minutes long. So like the first minute, it was Mojo getting the shit kicked out of him with my cat meowing in the background. And then he did some stuff and some things and basically spent the rest of the match punking out Zack Ryder and like crawling around in a semi-football stance type scenario and just kind of punking him out. And he was like, come on, show me some intensity, come on. It was great. I liked it. He had a really good heel dynamic going on.
That's
enjoyable.
Good. That's good. Hopefully they don't ruin the Mojo Rawley heel turn.
Indeed. New theme song, too.
So we head on to the U.S. Triple Threat match, which Bobby Roode versus Baron Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler.
Holy shit, this was good.
This was pretty good, and the crowd was really into this. I think the crowd actually made this pay-per-view quite a bit better. Yeah. We even got some Bobby Roode chants.
Where was this? Was this Boston?
This was Boston.
Boston apparently knows about some wrestling.
Indeed. Crowd was going absolutely nuts for Bobby Roode, but the Glorious One wound up eating a DDT from Dolph Ziggler instead of delivering the Glorious DDT. I have written here, thank God that wasn't the end, because I don't want to see Dolph win this match. I was going to be let down before the end of this match.
Man, I was so happy when Dolph won. I actually threw my hands up in the air and went, yeah, motherfucker!
It makes no storyline sense.
I don't care.
None whatsoever.
I don't care at all. I'm happy about him winning. I'm happy about him finally getting a spotlight that he should have had the whole time.
Well, he's had this spotlight before. Like, the thing is, they're going to waste it.
Yeah,
again.
They do.
Like, that's my problem. Like, I like Dolph Ziggler. When I say I don't want Dolph Ziggler to win this match, it literally has nothing to do with Nick Nemeth, which is his name. It has everything to do with the booking around Dolph Ziggler for the last several years. And to be honest, even when they were putting belts on him, the booking in regards to that was also terrible. So that's the problem.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you can point me to one person they didn't completely waste, I would be surprised.
Well, I mean, you could say John Cena.
I guess, but he could be way bigger than he is now with like a year worth of heel work in the middle there, or maybe 2 years worth of heel work.
Yeah, but I get not doing that. You get the merchandise and everything that you got to keep up.
Yeah,
I get that. Like there are guys that I think haven't really been misused terribly much. It's just like Ziggler seems to be one of the worst in this regard. Every time they give him a push, it's like, okay, so we've got this spotlight on you. Go out there and make us proud. And by the way, here's this terrible promo that you're going to deliver, and we're going to make you look exceedingly weak in every match you have.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, they could have had a Shawn Michaels slot. Just slot him right into the Shawn Michaels spot right there. Boom. You got the new Shawn Michaels instantly. You literally no downtime between Michaels retiring and the new replacement right there. But they're so dumb they can't do anything right.
I did enjoy the execution and the concept of the ending where Baron goes for the end of days on Bobby Roode, but Ziggler hits the zigzag kind of out of nowhere RKO style.
That was great.
Gets the pin. Like, that was good, but then it's like, Dolph Ziggler, your new champion. I'm like, oh, this is so wasted.
I don't care. I still like it. I like the whole thing. I like I like the psychology where the actual veterans were outsmarting Baron Corbin the whole time. When Roode went for the pin, and Corbin came in and tried to throw Roode out and then pounce on the pin to get himself the win. And Roode immediately, reversed the reversal and threw him out and was like, you stupid fucking kid. I can play this game. And then, he got pulled outside, but it was, I enjoyed the small things like that went throughout the match, just outsmarting the obvious rookie.
I thought this was a very well put together triple threat match and everything. I just know they're going to waste Dolph. Like, that's the only problem I have.
Yeah, well, I like the promo that he cut on, what did I say, Smackdown, right?
Yeah.
I have a hard time keeping track.
Then we had a little bit of a tease between Shane and Daniel Bryan with some tension. I enjoyed Daniel saying, this shirt is the wrong size. This shirt is like for the big show or something. Then we had a brief little angry promo from Baron Corbin, which just basically was Ziggler stole the U.S. title and he will pay. Kind of mixed. I actually like the delivery, but I feel like this is just like Baron Corbin's character going around the toilet bowl repetitively. Mm-hmm. Like, not necessarily getting flushed. He's just kind of hanging on there, but it's the same thing. Then we had the tag team title match. This was a little weird with having 4 legal men, but
yeah, in the beginning there was, as far as the match is concerned, that there was a lot of weird. This was supposed to be a spot here, and I know that you and I were supposed to do a spot, but I don't know what it is, so I'm just gonna kind of fucking push you a little bit and maybe roll you out of the ring, kind of, sort of, but we're gonna fuck that up too.
So it was a bit of a clusterfuck, but overall, I think a lot of good things did happen. I enjoyed. I mean, Chad Gable got to go over huge here with with a lot of suplexes. Rusev doing the big stuff with the accolade and power spots, doing some great job. Him and Aiden English stunningly over,
massively over. It was fantastic.
And in the end, the Usos pinned Chad Gable after a pair of super kicks after he had gone kind of nuts with the German suplexes. By the way, him suplexing Rusev and Big E like back to back, fantastic.
Yeah, way to keep the title on the least over, least popular, least desirable team. Let's make them champions. It's not even that they got heel heat; they're just not.
Well, they're supposed to be faces, so they don't even really want heel heat.
These are supposed to be phases?
Yeah.
Wow. Can you can we book them a little more wrong? Because I had no idea these guys were supposed to be faces.
After they made peace with the New Day, I think that was supposed to be a face turn moment. Like the heels in this match were supposed to be Benjables and Rusev in English.
No, I didn't know they had made a peace with anybody. I thought they were still just being douchebags that think that they're in prison? Question mark?
Yeah, the whole lockdown thing has never been big with me. They're somewhat over with the crowd. They are good workers, which we'll get onto in SmackDown, because I thought they had a good match on SmackDown with Benjables. But I've never really felt the Rusevs the Usos as a top tier tag team.
No, they're an enhancement team at best.
No, better than that. I transitional tag team champion is what I would
book. I would book the Usos the way that the Wobbly Wobbly Bee books Dolph Ziggler most of the time. They would be the guys that are pretty good, and then you get somebody else over.
Yeah, no, I'd have that, but I'd give them the occasional tag team title run, that kind of thing, you know. Like, I like them, but, I like Benjamin and Gable far more, and I don't like Aiden English, but I do like the Rusev English combination, and it is definitely over, and So, yeah, this is not the team I would have had win.
Yeah, I was never an Aiden English fan. I despise music gimmicks. Case in point, Elias. I'm sure he's he could be a really good wrestler. It's just that I'd never see him actually wrestle. It's total trash. And it's not funny. Like, it used to be funny. It's not good anymore at all. But you pair him with Rusev, you pair Aiden English with Rusev, and suddenly there's a reason to sit there and listen to him sing, because he's going to say some stuff that's funny, or he's going to say some stuff that you can cheer along with, or something like that. I don't just have to sit through shitty music or garbage renditions of things. I can, even if it's bad, I can still enjoy it because he's going to say or sing something that's funny or enthusiastic.
Mm-hmm. Then we had the women's title match with the Lumberjills.
This was bad.
This was bad because you can't work a dynamic where you have 6 heels out of 7 Lumberjacks. It does not work.
No, and they were beating each other up on like I saw. Who was it? I think it was Sonya Deville. Was just
Sarah Logan.
Was it Sarah? Somebody was standing behind somebody else, and they're all heels, and so they just started basically aggressively resting their forearm on somebody else's back. I'm sure it was supposed to be like, I'm hitting you, but they reached their arm out and just kind of rested on their back and then retracted and then kind of leaned forward out again with the arm and then retracted. And it was quite obvious that whoever was standing up front didn't even know it was going on, so there was no selling whatsoever.
Well, I think, admittedly, I believe it was Tamina.
Could be, but I mean, there was no reason to sell any. There was no reason to do it in the first place. There was no reason to do it that badly, and then there was no reason for it to happen in the first place. Wait, I already said that. Oh yeah, because there was no reason for it to happen. They're all supposed to be doing a job together. What the fuck?
Yeah. Well, they've been teasing tension between the old heels and the new heels to a degree, but like the thing is that they had like so many false starts on the brawl between the Jills throughout this match, where like Logan would hit Tamina and it's like, okay, it's gonna go off now. No? Okay. And then Carmella got like thrown away at one point, and I'm like, all right, it's gonna go off now. No? Okay. Like, we had like 5 or 6 like false starts of the heels brawling, and I'm like, there's only so much slow tension build you can give me in a Lumberjills match between the heel factions. Like, it either, like the first, it should have been like on Raw, on SmackDown, when you had Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the New Day, and like Baron Corbin and Bobby Roode had their run in on the outside, and like instant brawl. That's what this should have been. I don't understand how you can book it properly then, and then here we are, like, I don't know, we're like, what, a month later? That was like right after Survivor Series, and you have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah, this was just all of the bad. I was happy to see Charlotte get the win, because I like Natalya, but she's been so miscast and so misused.
Oh, tremendously.
It's bad. It's so bad. She's like, what, the second best female wrestler on the roster? Maybe the best?
Top five.
Yeah.
I think she's a little bit under-athletic compared to some of the other girls, and I think that
she's a Neidhart.
Yeah. No. I'm not even like saying that as a criticism. I'm just like, if we're lining it all up and taking all the elements together.
There's some genetics going on there, and I know what Jim the Anvil Neidhart's capable of, and I assume that his daughter is somewhat in that mold. So you fucking... it's real easy and real obvious, and you just do it, and they're not doing it.
Yeah. Also, her character is not remotely understandable, because... No. Like, don't get me wrong, the occasional delusional heel gimmick is fine, but you gotta give me a reason to kind of buy into the delusion. And with Natty, it's Charlotte is using her family name to get title shots and stuff, and I'm like, but she beat you, and she beat you without help, and you're using your family name to do stuff, and pointing towards Bret Hart's. Like, here's the sad thing, you're pointing towards your uncle's legacy. At least she's using her father.
Yeah, again, that goes back to the obvious thing. You don't do this. This is done so wrong. She's a Neidhart. Put the Neidharts over. She's the daughter of Jim the fucking Anvil Neidhart. God damn it, it's real easy. Real easy. God damn it.
Yeah, anyways, moving on. We get the Sings denying Dasha entry to Ginger's locker room and teasing whether they'll be out there or not. They will be, so next. Breezango gets squashed by the Bludgeon Brothers. I'm of two minds about this. I like that Harper and Rowan are getting a push because it's about time they got used properly.
Yep.
But at the same time, what are you doing with Breeze and Fandango? Jesus Christ.
Yep, that's the only hot program you've got in your entire company, pretty much.
There's a couple others, but it's one of your hottest.
Until like 2 weeks ago, Rusev and Aiden English weren't really a thing, not like they are now. But you've got the Fashion Police, and you've got sometimes, occasionally, you let AJ Styles wrestle. Other than that, you got there's no real impetus for people to be paying attention.
Pretty much. Then we got an Owens and Zayn promo to set up their match with RKO and Nakamura. And then we got the double special guest referee thing. And the first half of this match was a complete fuck fest, basically. It was useless as they figured out how the two referees were going to work. And the sad thing to me is that I feel like this wasn't even storyline that they were trying to figure out how these referees work. I think they were honestly trying to figure out how this referee thing was going to work on the fly.
That is very possible.
That's how bad this was. It finally got okay when they just divided the ring in half and, came up with a system.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, if that's the way that they booked it, then they did a really good job. But, yeah, it gave me the... I don't know. Them going down for the 3 count on the first pin attempt at the same time and both being off time, that seems like something you can't really do on the fly. Because I have a feeling that they just get in sync. Like, one guy'd count, the next guy'd count off time, and then by the number 2, they'd be both pretty close. And yeah.
Like, I could dig it for, like, one pinfall, maybe, but they did it a couple of times, and it's like, okay, Shane and Daniel talk largely every day, storyline-wise. This is the deal. This is my right-hand man, Daniel Bryan. You'd think you would have worked this out ahead of time. We got the destruction of the announce table, of course, because we need that to take out Nakamura with the bullfrog splash.
Indeed.
Both the referees wind up fucking up the match, although in Bryan's case it wasn't intentional. He got pushed into Shane while Shane was counting for the pinfall. But Shane's kind of somewhat deliberately counting slow a couple times. That kind of messes things up. And then Daniel Bryan gets into his face when Shane just, no pretext at all, just stopped counting for Owens and Zayn. And then in the kerfuckage, we end up with a roll-up on Orton by Sammy and fast count by Orton to give the match to Owens and Zayn and allow them to keep their jobs.
Yep. At the time I was watching it, I was really happy to see the fast count. I thought that was funny as shit. And then, about a minute later, I'm like, oh, they could just easily explain that as like, I'm just trying to even up. Like, obviously, you're fucking things up, and to keep things fair, I mean, you did a no count, and I did a fast count, so it all kind of evens out.
Which is kind of the direction they're taking on SmackDown, it seems.
Yeah.
Then we had Jinder Mahal versus AJ Styles in what I'm going to call Jinder Mahal's best match.
Yeah,
and a pretty decent one overall, actually. The shame is really with Jinder Mahal is that he was rushed. I think that you could have done a main event Jinder Mahal gimmick down the road. But easily. I think you needed to build him up slowly, give him some U.S. title time, let him work out some things, because he's becoming pretty passable in the ring. It's too late now. Like, you can't get rid of the matches in my head that he had with Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura that were freaking terrible.
Yeah, there's no real recovering from that in a fast to put it one way, you can't fix the problem as fast as you pushed them. It's just not possible. Maybe in 3 years, people will accept the fact that, well, okay, he's been sort of main event level for a while. I guess it's okay to kind of finally accept him. But there's no way anybody's going to do it before leaving, not even the next WrestleMania, but the one after that.
Yeah. No, we're talking a couple of years maybe to rebuild him into something, and of course the problem always was the transparency of the reasons for the Mahal push was the India market, and it didn't work.
No, not at all.
That's the other thing is what you pushed him to increase revenue in India. Number one, you really couldn't. Your basis of that was, hey, we get social media hits in India. There's people who are clearly like hankering for wrestling there. I'm like, yeah, but there's a reason they haven't bought it already, and that is they don't have the money.
Yeah, either they don't have the money or they don't care, or they, pirate it.
Yeah, and your TV deal, it's not like your TV deal's getting any bigger there. So, yeah, just an utter failure with the Mahal experiment for the reasons of it and the end of it. So, Anyways, AJ gets the tap out with the calf slicer. It's a good match. If this is the first match you ever saw with Jinder Mahal in it, you probably wouldn't understand why he's so disliked, actually.
Correct.
So that brings us into Raw. And we got Kurt Angle leading us off, because, we need a general manager to open up the show again. Yeah, let's do that.
I hanker for the days when the Authority took 90 minutes to open a show.
Yeah. Anyways, in this case, I agree with it, because, you do have the thing with the whole Kane and Braun who's getting the challenge for the title. So it works here, but a lot of the time it doesn't. He says he will determine Brock's challenger, and Brock is here tonight. Braun Strowman makes his presence felt, and Kane's out there, of course. They both want the shot. They both have earned it. And Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar come out. And then we get a brawl. And it's going to be a triple threat match at the Royal Rumble. Which...
Boring.
I have a lot less problems with this than everyone else does. But, yeah.
I don't have a massive problem with it. It's just boring.
I
don't care. I legitimately don't care anymore that Brock Lesnar ever has matches. He's never around.
Most people are anti it, though, for the Kane being included.
I mean, that's also a problem, because he's obviously going to eat the pin. And if he doesn't eat the pin, and Brock Lesnar, you pin Strowman clean, you've wasted a year.
Oh, fuck, no, they better not pin Strowman clean.
Oh, they will.
Kane better eat the fucking pin.
I mean, this is the perfect opportunity if you're looking to actually build a star. Put the fucking belt on Brownie the Strongman, and you've got... I mean, he's already a star. He could be so much more. But no. You gotta keep your fucking title on the fucking part-timer so that you can send him to Raz Lamagna, and then you can have your golden boy who people are actually sort of appreciating now, but that's 2 weeks away from just going away. So... You've got to try and... You got to keep your title on the part-timer, and then you got to try desperately without Ambrose to help prop up Joe the Samoan, and I don't mean Samoa Joe. You got to try and prop up your pseudo Golden Boy through to WrestleMania so that people finally give a shit about him, which won't work.
Yeah, but they'll do it anyways.
Oh yeah, and they'll probably pin Braun Strowman. So they can have a clip at WrestleMania. So they go, oh look, he beat up Braun Strowman. Fucking Roman Reigns doesn't have a chance. Look at what he did to Strowman. And Strowman, like MMA math style. Strowman destroyed Reigns. And then yada, 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 yada. And it won't work. It's not going to work.
It doesn't really work because technically speaking, Reigns beat Brawny the Strowman.
True.
Anyways, we get Seth Rollins out there for a match. We are told that he's facing Samoa Joe, but Jason Jordan comes on out instead. He does a little bit of bitching about asking for 2 weeks for a match with Joe, and then he's done asking. He has a lot of respect for Seth Rollins, but he wants Joe first. Seth talks about the pressure on Jordan, says he understands, but this is not his chance. And then Joe comes out. And Joe made me laugh a lot. I don't think I laughed as hard for the rest of the show as I did right here when he goes, yeah. Gentlemen, I feel like the belle of the ball, and all the boys want to dance with me.
Correct.
So he basically says, hey, if Rollins wants Joe now, you can take on Jordan. And Rollins kind of makes a bit of a daddy joke about Jordan wanting to get Kurt Angle's acceptance, and gets clocked for it, which, you know what, fine. And unfortunately, we got a very early boring chant in this match, which was not great. But the match was pretty good. I thought the boring chant was not really a thing that was required. Got some nice Northern Lights suplexes in there. And eventually Rollins throws Jordan into Joe, super kicks him, and pins him. And then, or after the Rainmaker knee, but then Joe comes in to basically, fuck things up.
You fucked up. You fucked up.
But Rollins gets the win. And then backstage, we had Rollins wants Joe tonight. Ambrose is down for that as well. And Jason Jordan also wants a shot. And Kurt Angle makes a 6-man tag match with The Bar. And Samoa Joe versus Jason Jordan, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose. Your classic Strange Bedfellows match.
Correct.
And then we move on to Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy promos. Bray wanted to know what draws people to Matt Hardy, and Bray is here to make sure that the right people get hurt. and that Sister Abigail is sorry, but the Great War must continue. Actually, I think we got the Matt Hardy promo later on. Yeah, we did. Okay.
Wonderful.
So just Bray Wyatt here. And then we went into Finn Balor versus Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas. You have anything you want to say about this match? Because I did not care for it.
Yeah, well, it was average. It's the way you would book an average-ass match. It's not the way you're going to be booking Finn Balor, although apparently Vince is booking Finn Balor as an average-ass dude. Kenta came down, and we had some stuff, and that was pretty cool, and that's about all I have to say about the match.
Yeah, Balor got the win by DQ originally, and then we got a tag team match. Confirmation that Itami is heading to 205 Live from Michael Cole on commentary. Wow. And Balor eventually takes Dallas out on the outside, and Itami hits a GTS to pin Axel. Apparently Itami's getting a little worked up about people giving CM Punk credit for the GTS, and not him.
He's been kind of on that train for a while. I remember it must have been a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. There was some sort of schmozzle on Twitter, and CM Punk was involved, and I think CM Punk criticized people for using other people's moves and not coming up with original content, and then Itami got on there and just kind of put a smiley face or something like that.
Yeah, because I don't think of CM Punk as really the innovator of really any moves. All of his stuff is done before. I mean, I guess you could say the Pepsi Plunge maybe with the basically the super pedigree in a nutshell.
Yeah.
But he didn't do that in the WWE the whole time. So, I mean, like, GTS is not his move. The Anaconda Vice is not a wrestling move, just in general.
Yeah.
Technically an MMA move. So, not really the guy who should be throwing that stone.
Not at all.
Then we had Cedric Alexander backstage. This was basically nothing. It just led us into Drew Gulak versus Cedric Alexander with hype man Enzo Amore.
Correct.
Drew Gulak compared himself to Jar Jar Binks. That was a little painful.
Yeah, it's not good. I understand that he's supposed to be a generally clueless, lovable heel, but come on.
That was a bit too much. He owes the biggest match of his life to his mentor and his best friend, Enzo Amore, and he goes to the PowerPoint Enzo Amore Tribute Edition. But Cedric Alexander, of course, prevents that from happening. Enzo joins his commentary, and basically him and Booker T were having a good time with each other, it seems. And I like the double suplex out of the ring spot, where basically one guy gets suplexed out of the ring and drags the other guy with him. That was well done.
Yeah.
And eventually Enzo leaves the announce booth, which distracts Gulak, and Alexander gets the W with the lumbar check.
Yeah, it was, I don't remember a lot about the match, but I remember it being fine. There's nothing wrong with it. And that's about it.
Kinda. Enzo has gone backstage to find Nia Jax. He got that DM and reiterates that Drew works for him and is not his friend. Drew interrupts to apologize for losing with comically overstuffed nose for, that he's busted up. And Nia says she's gonna let them handle this and that Enzo should find her later and they'll finish talking. And then Enzo freaks out on Gulak because Gulak asks him, Gulak's like, maybe we can go back and watch some film and figure out what I did wrong. And Enzo just turns to him and goes, you did a lot of things wrong, Drew. You did a lot of things wrong. Then we go to Asuka versus Alicia Fox. This was nothing new. Fox said that she will take what she's learned and she will beat Asuka or freak out. I have in my notes. I'm pretty sure the second portion of that is just not optional. Mm-hmm. And she gets finished with an armbar. And then...
Yeah, she's terrible, man. She's just ridiculously
The weird thing about her is that if you look at her matches sometimes, she is good. It's like they tell her to go out there and act like a spaz who can't wrestle.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is, I'm glad that they've. Well, I'm sort of not glad that they've done this, but they put the glow chick on one show, and they put Foxy Brown or whatever the fuck her name is. They put them on different shows, so you still have the really cringe-worthy bad wrestler who can't promo. I'd prefer if they put him as a tag team so that we generally, can either get it all over with in one shot, or maybe just don't book that tag team to be on. Please.
I've said it before. I've seen perfectly acceptable Naomi matches. I've seen perfectly acceptable Alicia Fox matches. I don't understand how WWE handles them, because they seem to book them to look terrible. And they're not the only talent they do this with.
Yeah, it's real bad. Real bad.
Then we got Joe in the Bar versus Rollins, Ambrose, and Jordan.
I had something for this. Now I can't remember what it was. I was going to call them... this trios team needs to be called the Samoan Pub.
Samoan Pub. Oh, yeah, that's good. Early on, Jordan isolates himself from the rest of his team when he tags in without permission. And eventually we get the hot tag to Rollins, but he gets beat down for a bit. I know that Ambrose didn't really do much in this match, and the news that he is injured is kind of broke, so I think he might have gone into this match already injured. And they just didn't know the extent of it.
Yeah, and from what I hear, the extent of the injury is real bad. Like, he had a 50% tear.
50% tear, yeah.
Yeah, on his bicep tendon. Or is it tricep?
Bicep, I think.
Okay, so
one of the seps.
He's out, and probably will be out past WrestleMania. So this goes back to my whole, you got to prop up your supposed golden boy for an extended period of time without the guy with the actual charisma in the group. This is going to be a problem.
It's not a good thing. Also kind of messes up your tag team title picture as well. Although I guess you could do some kind of odd bedfellows thing with Rollins and Jordan. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I guess.
Ambrose did have one big spot where he goes hero mode. He breaks up the brawl on the outside, throwing Rollins into the ring, and then goes to wait for the hot tag, but Cesaro pulls him down, and that's pretty much all we had for Ambrose, basically, at this point. The doctor comes in to check on him. Rollins, pretty much on his own, because Jordan's out of the match, Ambrose is out of the match, and he gets kicked in the head and pinned. That was that. Stephanie McMahon arrives via limousine, and she walks in, and that will come into play later. Then we had probably the highlight of the show for me, Matt Hardy playing chess with Napoleon Bonaparte as a goldfish.
Correct. Making
jokes about a small vessel, and tells Bray Wyatt the wrong move can lead to total annihilation.
Delete! I'm enjoying the Matt Hardy. There's just no getting around it, and nor should you try.
And then the Bar and Joe go backstage to beat up Ambrose and give him an excuse to be off TV for a bit. Then we had Heath Slater and Rhino versus the Revival, but boys are back.
Say yeah!
Say yeah! Dana Brooke and Titus Worldwide are watching and making notes. Dana Brooke in business attire is a win. 2 thumbs up.
Correct. Enjoyable. Highly enjoyable. You know what? Dana Brooke, not the greatest in the ring, but there's no real issues there either. I mean, she's just not a complete package.
Well, considering that, we, as we just said, you have somewhat talented women and very talented women being booked to not be talented, so her in-ring talent should have nothing to do with her push.
That's also true. She looks great. She has a great theme song. Her psychology in the ring needs work, and just her general awareness. And yeah, I don't have any problems with Dana Brooke. Apparently everybody else, well, maybe not you, but a lot of people just don't fucking like her, and I don't understand why.
I think that she's the weakest in-ring worker on the main roster, excluding perhaps the recent call-ups.
Yeah.
And, I think she shouldn't be on the main roster. I think she was rushed to the main roster. I think she should be still at NXT. But it's like I said, this is the Raw and SmackDown women's division. Work rate has nothing to do with how good you are or your position. It never has, outside of a brief bit. But you have, as we said, Natty Neidhart, fantastic worker, being booked into oblivion and really not being allowed to wrestle. We have Alicia Fox and Naomi, who are athletic, capable workers, not great, but capable workers, who are, again, not really allowed to do anything. So I don't really understand why people would have a problem with a weak worker like Dana Brooke being on the show.
Yeah, no, I don't get it. She's got a great personality. She's got a great look, great theme song. That's most of the package right there. It's the rest of it, which again you could hide a lot of that by putting her back with somebody and making her the goon, or whatever. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. In the end, the Revival gets the win with the Shatter Machine. Not a great match, but I think it's it's bringing the Revival back after a while away. We haven't seen a lot of Rhino and Slater. Nothing got fucked up, and that's pretty much a win.
Yeah.
The Revival didn't get injured again. There you go. That's the positive. Kurt backstage tells Slater and Rhino that he appreciates the effort, but they will need to toughen up if they're going to keep getting opportunities. Rhino says he knows just the thing to toughen up Slater. I'm intrigued where this is going to go.
Indeed. Everybody needs montage.
Then we had Elias out there to do some singing.
Skip. This went on for like 10 minutes, dude.
I actually
skipped the whole thing.
I enjoyed the promo part, but not the singing part. I enjoyed him talking about Tom Brady and getting the big face pop, and then completely swerving by going, "Yeah, Tom Brady listens to my music when he's prepping for the game, deflating footballs and looking at the other team's playbook."
Yeah.
But yeah, basically he's singing and keeps getting interrupted. He gets interrupted by Sasha Banks and Mickie James and Bayley, and he keeps acting like they're out here to join him until Bayley comes out, and at which point he's like, just like, "Fuck this! I'm going to the back. I can take the kids," and leaves. And we finish off with Bayley, Mickie James, and Sasha Banks versus Absolution.
Still
this
that name.
Was a non-match because we just wound up with a DQ. And then Nia Jax comes out to make the save. Jax beats them down for a little bit, gets a 2-woman Samoa drop, which was cool, but I'm pretty sure I've seen her do it before. And then the locker room clears to beat down Absolution. And then this is where the show got really bad, because you had Stephanie McMahon come out to announce the Women's Royal Rumble, talk about Women's Revolution and the Women's Evolution, with, of course, no mention of AJ Lee, because we can't mention her. We cannot.
No.
But we will mention a bunch of people who had absolutely nothing to do with it. And, and the faces and the heels are all in the ring, standing in a line, and they're clapping, and they're so happy instead of remembering they were just brawling.
Yeah.
This sucked.
This was extremely cringeworthy. This was the worst way to do this. It was so bad.
Yeah, the Women's Royal Rumble should have come about because of the women. Not because of Stephanie McMahon. And this is
pretty much.
Right.
There's a lot of conflicting. Well, one bit of information is apparently nobody in the ring was told what was going to happen. They were just told that Stephanie McMahon's going to come down and do a thing. So nobody was in on it. So all the reactions you saw from the women's wrestlers in there are genuine, which is cool. But now they didn't know who was even going to be involved with this. They still don't know how many people are going to be. Apparently nobody knows how many people are going to be in this match.
I hope that it's not 30, because the rumor is 20 or 30. And
yeah,
I hope it's not.
The new rumor is 15.
15 would work. 20 would work as well. My problem with 30 is there are 22 women apparently on the main roster. This is according to Wrestle News. That number, mm-hmm. I haven't gone and double checked it. But if you're gonna have a 30 woman rumble with 22 women on the roster, I get it. You get some NXT girls in there as well, so you can make 30. But you should never have it that your entire roster is in the rumble. Like the men's rumble has people excluded. The kind of the bottom rung doesn't get in there. And that's the same thing that should happen with the women. It should be somewhat prestigious. So you go with a lower number, in my opinion.
I would disagree for a couple of reasons. One, it's the first one, so I would have as many people involved as possible. What the fuck else are they going to do? They're going to have a bunch of women's matches on the Royal Rumble card itself? I don't think so.
Oh, you don't need to put them on the Rumble, dude. Like, come on. Not every man is on the Rumble. 2, every time we do a pay-per-view, like we had Clash of Champions, and if you ignore the fact that we had 7 Lumberjills, we had 2 women wrestle on the card. Yeah. And that is standard procedure for the pay-per-views.
Yeah, but further that point, it's being the first one being historic. I would want as many people on the roster to be involved as possible. 2, they're gonna make a guy win anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter. And 3, I had something for this.
I hope to God they don't do that. I hope.
Oh, dude, they're gonna they'll just bring back Santino and he'll.
Well, I assume this is the return of Ellsworth, frankly.
No, I don't think they'll even bother. They'll probably bring maybe Zach Gowen will swoop out of nowhere and he will win. Or maybe that's why Colin Delaney's back. Colin Delaney, now new frontrunner to win the Women's Royal Rumble. There was another legit reason I had for having as many people as possible in there, and now I can't remember what it is. Shit.
I see your reasons. I don't necessarily agree, but it's not like I'm going to be angry if it's a 30-woman Rumble. If I were doing it, I'd go 20 or 15, but I do... I see your point.
That was the other one I had. If you go with like a 15-person woman, it's just, now that's just a regular battle royal. This is supposed to be the Royal Rumble. This is supposed to be the big one. I don't want to, I don't care about a small women's battle royale. I don't care.
Well, that's why I wouldn't go 15. I think 15 is too small, but I think you can do 20.
Yeah, that's possible.
Then we go on to Smackdown, which opens up with Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan talking to each other. And just to sum it up, Daniel Bryan basically offers himself up to be fired if what you want is a yes man, fire me now. He believes in Shane, and he doesn't want Shane to turn into Vince McMahon, basically. Shane says, I trust you, let's move on.
I would actually be in favor of a Mr. McMahon-esque return.
I must say that this is kind of troubling that, literally speaking, the company itself points out that Vince McMahon is a complete egotistical guy, and there is no way you should trust this company.
Yeah.
That's not good PR for the company. Then we have the Usos, Tag Team Champions versus Benjables. This was a fun match. I think that these two teams have some great chemistry and some great options because the Usos are small enough that Gable can, like, just without really any effort, suplex them around and stuff. It's impressive when he does, like, Big E and Rusev and stuff, bigger guys, but he can do more of that against the Usos, so that's cool. And also, Shelton Benjamin looks huge these days. Shows you the change in landscape to WWE when he originally came in. Because he was a small guy. Now he's a big guy. I don't think he's actually any bigger. I think that's just how retroactively different the roster is.
Yeah, that's true. I was fine with the match, except for the fact that I didn't remember ever hearing them say anything like, this is non-title.
Yeah, I thought this was I literally thought this was a title match up until Benjables won with the Powerbomb Bulldog type deal and went, wait, they're not the champions? Oh, so this was a non-title match.
Yeah.
Oh, that probably should have been...
In my opinion, they are the champions because nobody said it was a non-title match, therefore, new champions.
This has actually been a long-term flaw of them. Like, when I see champions come out and they don't make much of a deal about it being non-title or anything. Like, a lot of the time. And I keep thinking I'm looking at a title match, and then I find out it's not a title match. And I'm just like, Then we got Charlotte some time in the ring to deliver a promo, puts over the fans, talks about how great the Royal Rumble is going to be. Naomi comes out to declare herself a spot in the Rumble, and she will see Charlotte at Mania, which would be an okay match, but there are a lot better matches on offer. The Riot Squad comes out, and Naomi... I didn't really get behind her promo mowing them down, because I thought it was kind of dumb. Her thought was basically, you guys can't do the Rumble, because, I mean, the Rumble's about fighting that numbers game or whatever. I'm like, this sounds exactly like the environment for these girls. What the hell?
Yep.
The crowd reacted to it, but... anyways, we end up with a match between Naomi and Charlotte versus Ruby Riott with 2 T's, so Riott, and Sarah Logan. This was a decent little match, except that the finish was Naomi pinning Ruby Riott with the rear view. Why is that ever a finish?
I don't know. Honestly,
signature move, fine, but finish? What the hell?
I have no memory of this, so it must have been bad.
No, I mean the match was fine up until the finish. I will say that both the female heel factions are dying already. They've not even been on the roster for a month, and they're already dying because you've already got Absolution getting beaten down by the entire locker room. That went way too fast. And then you of course had Ruby Riott losing on NXT to Sonya Deville, and now they're losing this tag match. And it started so promisingly, and they've completely boned it up already.
Yeah, they're. I can't wait till they call up Sanity and then job them out for 6 years in a row.
That's probably the case. Except somehow Big Damo will end up getting a push because he's big.
Correct.
Then we had the New Day pipping out some gifts and merchandise, and Rusev Claus and Frosty English come in to counter with a Happy Rusev Day merchandise thing, and they challenge the New Day to a tag team title match, or to a tag team match via contest, or via song, I should say. And then we had Ziggler's promo. I didn't really like this, but you said you did, so
yeah,
take it away.
Well, I mean, dude went out there, spit some facts, and told everybody to go fuck themselves, and then walked off. I mean, what else the hell do you want?
Because it flies in the face of how he's been booked for half of those 12 years he kept emphasizing.
Yeah, no, I don't, and I'm fine with it. I'm fine with, he said that, though. He said he'd, fuck this place, fuck all this stuff, and just go fuck yourselves in general.
Yeah. But,
I'm really actually hoping that this is sort of a
my problem
type situation.
My problem with Ziggler at this point is that a little while ago, less than a year ago, his contract was up, and he was frustrated with creative, frustrated they didn't have anything for him, and he didn't leave.
Yeah, they threw a shit ton of money at him. Apparently,
he should have still left. This was in a post Cody Rhodes world, where it's not death to leave WWE, man. It's just not. I'm not yet convinced that it is not death for the women yet, because I kind of need one of the women to be brave enough to go do that and actually have success for me to believe it, because there's not really a lot of places to work. Because you've kind of seen this with Gail Kim leaving and Mickie James leaving. Sure, they went to Impact and did okay, but it wasn't exactly a heyday. But Cody Rhodes has proven, you know what? Dolph, you're as good a worker as Cody Rhodes. Probably better.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have quite the same name value because you're not a Rhodes, but you are a former WWE champion. You actually have a better pedigree than Cody Rhodes. Leave! Go find success in the independents if this is clearly eating your soul.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know how much money they threw at him, but apparently it was a lot.
Then we had Sammy and KO. They congratulate Daniel Bryan about helping them, helping the Yep movement. They warn him about Shane probably taking revenge on him and Randy Orton being a backstabbing bastard. And Bryan says, you two can stop smiling, or you might get fired, and go get ready for your match tonight.
Correct.
So he's still a face, and I like that. I was afraid they were going to turn him just full-on heel at this point. And
well, I'm hoping that here's fantasy booking warfare time. You ready? What I want is I want a Mr. McMahon 2.0 where Shane's clearly the heel in this fucking setup. Clearly. But they keep booking him like a face.
Yeah.
Which is weird. But that's wobbly beat logic for you. Or maybe they completely misjudged how popular Zayn and Owens are? Maybe? I don't know.
Well, considering they repetitively forget how over Daniel Bryan is, that's entirely possible.
Yeah, so, I mean, that could be a thing. But what I want things to just continue as they are. I want Shane McMahon to get slowly more and more controlling and power hungry and crazy, and then eventually he just kind of becomes his father, but better. and
I'd prefer
able to have matches. And then Daniel Bryan, who sticks with him the whole way, dude, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to protect you from yourself. I'm trying to get like all of these things that are good done. And then, boom, fucking, you don't have a heel faction. You have like a heel authority figure, which the Wobbly Wobbly Bee cannot stop doing. So you might as well go with the only thing they ever do somewhat correct. And then you've got an anti-hero sort of, not a face. I don't want Zane Owens and Danielson to be a face faction. I want them to be like an anti-hero. Like you could have a Stone Cold faction.
I mean, I like the concept, except that I want one McMahon to be a freaking face in this whole freaking deal, and they're all heels. Like, Vince can never stop being a heel, and Steph can never stop being a heel, so the only hope is for Shane McMahon to be a face, and I want one McMahon that I like. God damn it.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm not really behind this concept. Then we have Reindeer Xavier Woods and Gingerbread Kofi versus Rusev Claus and Aiden or Frosty English.
They're I'm gonna say it right now. They fucked up big. They missed a golden opportunity. We could have had Jinder Mahal.
Oh, that would have been good. Would have been good.
Perfect opportunity gone.
Yeah. This was fine for what it was. Like every holiday, we have this stupid thing. You got the Halloween street fight between the Good Brothers and Slater and Rhino this year. You've got this one for Christmas.
I'm a big comedy match guy, so I mean, I really enjoyed what they were doing, especially with English and Rusev being as over as they are.
Yeah, no, if that's your thing, that's your thing. And I got no problem with it being.
That's my thing.
Yeah, I got no problem with it being there. I'm just not going to pretend it's my thing. Although I do like comedy. I just didn't really care for this one. I like Yano, for example.
Indeed.
Then we go on to Orton, Nakamura, and Styles versus Mahal, Owens, and Zayn. This was perfectly fine, especially when Nakamura and Zayn were working together. It was really good. Jinder Mahal is not a good worker. Orton is not a good worker unless you force him to be. Like, he's perfectly physically and mentally capable. He just doesn't. But in the end, we end up with AJ Styles hitting a Viper-assisted phenomenal forearm, which I don't think would actually aid it in any way, but okay. And Nakamura hitting the Kinshasa for the 3 on Sami Zayn to get the win for the faces.
Yep. Everything was fine. Again, it wasn't spectacular. There were parts that were good, parts that were fine. And, for a main event, wouldn't be the way I would have done it, but I guess that's why they get paid the medium dollars.
Well, the main event scene in SmackDown has been really, really bad.
Yeah, I don't understand that. You want people to be... you want people to be engaged. You want people to stay through the whole show. You want people to go home happy or shocked or something, but they gotta, give them a reason to keep coming back. I can't remember the last time they had a main event on SmackDown or Raw that was worth sitting through the whole show for.
I'm sure there's been something, but nothing's jumping to mind right away.
See?
All right, take us through 205 Live, boss.
I refuse. Okay, I'll do it. 205 Live pissed me off.
Oh, I didn't expect this.
I'm not gonna lie about it. 205 Live was fucking bad. Fucking really bad. Fucking really, really bad. They had all of the recaps for Cedric Alexander. Congratulations. And then Enzo had a line in there called Snowball's Chance in Heck. I enjoyed that. I have Enzo language in my notes here. Apparently Twitter is the new kayfabe. And nobody can stick to it because people seem to be using Twitter a lot to try and get themselves over and portray their characters, and they don't ever stick to their character, and it's bad. We get told that we're going to have Kenta's debut, we're going to have Garlic versus Alexander. again for no fucking reason whatsoever. Oh. And then they kind of fucked up a lot. They brought this guy Qualista. The announcer, I'm pretty sure that's what the announcer said. It's something like Qualista against Grand Metalik. So that's cool. I mean, that's going to be a really good match. You get to see some luchador type action. Oh wait, this isn't that. And this is the two Mexican wrestlers versus the two heels from the Cold Winter. Wow, they've done a really bad job of setting any of this up, or explaining what's going on, or telling us that things are going to happen. And I was legitimately lost as to what exactly was happening. And then they played like 5 minutes worth of a promo package to do with Gallagher and Kendrick. And I guess that's what's happening there, I suppose. Don't you guys have announcers, commentary team that could be filling me in on what the fuck's going on? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I've not really been a fan of the entire Brian Kendrick, Jack Gallagher storyline. I like it.
No, well,
I like where it can go. I just think that they're failing.
They're a great duo. They can do really awesome things. The problem is that they don't get a storyline that lasts longer than 2 weeks. So, fucking stop that. Yeah. What else was it?
We went to Enzo berating Gulak.
Yeah, there was a line called the excellence of elocution. That is fantastic. Good line. I appreciate that. Grand Metalik took forever to showcase moves, but he's still thousands of times better in the ring than Qualista, I believe is what we're pronouncing it this week. The one-footed drop kick to Metalik's leg was great. There was a botch on a slingshot from the Black Hole of Charisma himself, Qualista. I can't remember. I have one note here that says Dragon Roll, lol, but I honestly don't remember what's going on there. It was probably just another Kalisto botch. And there was a DQ, and who fucking cares? Nobody cares. Jesus Christ, nobody cares. And then there was an extended beatdown on Grand Metalik for no reason. I hope they release him so that he can go wrestle somewhere, like really wrestle somewhere. And there was just so much spastic, ridiculously bad selling during the match. It was bad. The pronunciation of Kalisto's name was bad. Fucking fire that announcer guy. It's just, oh boy, that was bad. Then we had an Enzo promo, and Andrew Garlic is pissed off, and that's really all you need to know.
Yep.
And then we had Kenta versus Colin Delaney. I was actually a lot more excited to see Colin Delaney.
I was too. He's a guy who succeeded in WWE for a while, and I honestly couldn't tell you why.
No, he's got a lot of sympathy in that kid. My first note here is Colin is a mini Danielson jobber because he looks a lot like Bryan Danielson, and he always does the jobs. The match was fine. Everything was on point. I didn't have anything to say good or bad. It was not a debut match. So kudos to WWE for sticking hardcore to their line of not debuting people properly. There was a top rope clothesline that was kind of garbage. And there was absolutely no pop for the finish whatsoever. Even though Nigel McGuinness sold it like it was $1 million.
Nigel's doing his best, but yeah. And this is the 205 problem just in general.
Yeah, pretty much. There was an Enzo Cedric Alexander promo that was garbage. It was really bad. I didn't think there could be a possible way of Enzo doing a bad promo. And he really didn't. It was Cedric Alexander that was stereotypical cookie cutter. Throw that shit out and don't ever do that again. And then I skipped the main event entirely because there's no reason to watch it. I actually have it written down that I watched that match last week, and I probably did. But the problem is I've already seen this match this week too. So there's no reason to have the match. There's no logical storyline reason to have this match. They've already had the match, and Cedric Alexander won. So he's got a shot at the title. So there's zero reason to have this match.
Oh,
there's
yeah,
also, there's also zero reason to have this match because we know Cedric Alexander's going to win. So there's no reason to have this match. There's every reason in the world to not have this match. And you have other people on the roster, so get them to fucking wrestle, you idiots.
Lince Dorado.
We could have had a Lince Dorado versus Grand Metalik match today. But that didn't happen.
Could have had it the whole time.
Could have it every fucking week. This whole thing was fucking bad, nonsensical, poorly done, poorly booked. The only bright side is that Kenta got to look kind of strong in a completely flat match.
I will briefly defend Drew Gulak and Cedric Alexander's match. Now, to be clear, I am defending the match itself, not the booking logic. Not the reason to have this match.
I didn't even watch it. I saved myself 20 fucking minutes of time.
This was better than their Raw match because Gulak was much more angry, much more desperate, and that made the match better. But not by a ludicrous amount. Like I would not even tell you to go back and watch it. Like it's nothing like that. It's like you've seen these two go at it and just picture it with like a slightly more panicked Gulak, and you've got what happened here. I did like the fact that Little Nate, the referee, actually told Enzo to shut up at ringside. That was good. Because Enzo, there's like a little, Alexander's in a headlock. Like it's clearly not a finish. It's a freaking rest hold. And Enzo's yelling, ask him if he gives up. Ask him, ref, do your job. And then Little Nate just turns it to him and stops officiating the match and goes, well, why don't you shut up? And at that point, Enzo starts threatening his job in the background, going, you know who I am? So that was amusing.
Awesome.
In the end, we get a lumbar check for the three after Gulak goes to the top rope. That's how desperate he is, and his knees are shaking and everything. But Alexander counters with a bit, just pulls him down. Hits the lumbar check, and then Daivari tries to jump him from behind, but ends up getting lumbar checked himself. So It was better than their Raw match, but still pointless. And it reminds me of when they had Austin Aries working with the actual injury and the worked injury, so to speak, where it's like, who is the general manager of this show? And why are they allowing the challenger for the title to work matches that he could potentially get injured in for no apparent reason?
Yeah, there's, again, zero reason to have the match in the first place. You could literally have anybody on the roster have a match. You have 2 matches here for the fucking... I know they'd love to cram in 6 matches for this amount of time, but, just don't have the people.
Or give Kenta, a proper match to, go along with. Not against Colin Delaney, obviously, but, give him something against
Mufasa Ali.
Well, I would have gone with a heel, but
whatever. I just would put him with the best wrestler.
Or help, throw him in there with Gulak.
Yeah, there you go.
Make that be Gulak's chance to try to prove himself.
Yup. And then we went on to the next XT, which we began with Sanity versus Redragon. And they started working the Toru Yano rope break scenario, which I enjoyed a great deal. And Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly were doing very good vocals. They were, taunting people and telling. At one point, Bobby Fish laid into Big Damo, and Big Damo was just like, "Fuck you!" And then, Bobby was like, "Come on, God damn it!" And eventually ended up jumping on Big Damo's back, got him a sleeper hold, and started going, "I got him! I got him! I got him!" So I was enjoying all of that. There was a really sweet teep kick, sweep kick combo. There was a really sweet senton drop kick combo from Big Damo where he hit, I can't remember, he hit one of the Redragons with the drop kick and the other one with the senton on the landing, so that was great. We're surprised run in from Adam Cole, and I have a note here that says, Adam Crotch, baby! Because he pushed EY off the ropes and crotched him. And then I was slightly
disappointed there that the crowd didn't go, Adam Cole, baby! As he interfered and got him DQ'd or something.
Yeah. And then we had a Nikki crossbody when she jumped off the ring apron and nailed Adam Crotch. and beat the shit out of Adam Cole. It was fantastic. And the crowd was chanting, "Let them fight, let them fight." And I have a note that says I would watch the shit out of that match.
I would watch that match.
That match would me could watch good, yes. There was a pretty sweet finisher with a leg sweep sling blade combo from Redragon to get the win. And the final note I have here is that I like the fact that Cole really only got involved in the match once. And then everybody else was sort of going after him. He really wasn't doing anything dirty. Everybody just was focused on, oh, fuck, I gotta beat up Adam Cole. And everybody took a run at him. And then they all got distracted and lost. I enjoyed it.
Yep, I liked the match. It was fun. Wasn't a standout. I think this group could have a better match. But you know what? Yeah. Save that for a takeover. I'm fine with that.
Exactly.
And we have new champions.
Diddly do, the Redragon. I'm kind of happy that they're pushing him immediately. That is a good move. Of course, when they get to main roster, they will have to job out for 16 years. So, I mean,
well, Vince will say, I don't understand the appeal of them. They're small.
Yeah. Then we had a Roderick Strong promo package, and then we had a Shayna Baszler promo package, and then we had a Heavy Machinery actual promo segment with the Fuckboys, and then the Fuckboys drove away in their little rental car.
I enjoyed this with the just the whole time going, you do not fuck with Otis Dozovich.
That is correct. He was going to lift up their car, and I think he probably could have. So yeah, it was pretty fun. I enjoyed it a great deal. And then we had a fucking promo from Sonya Deville, who apparently is still in NXT, even though she's on the main roster. She really shouldn't be on TV anywhere, because she's not very good.
I actually didn't mind the promo. I mean, I have the same problem, where is she on the main roster? Is she on NXT? What the hell is this going on here?
And
but I thought the promo was perfectly fine.
Like, they have so many other women there that could do... Why is she there? Taking up a spot that somebody else could be using. You're already on the main roster. Why is she wrestling for the fucking title? You're not going to win.
In fairness, you are missing the better, the good part of this. It means we don't have to see Ember Moon versus Billie Kay.
True. But I don't understand why any of that's happening, and it doesn't make any sense, and therefore that's why they're doing it, because they're just fucking idiots. Then we had a Large Sullivan promo package. So that's about, I don't know, half an hour worth of promo packages or something? Something of that nature. Yeah. Then we had Roderick Strong versus Large Sullivan. I thought it was a very good match. Not a very good match, but it was well booked.
Very well booked.
It was not a squash, which is odd, because you'd think that Vince would reach down from his clouds of obliviousness and go, no, I want the big guy to just squish him. I thought they did a good job of telling a story with the increasing amount of pin counts that Strong was able to get, up until the point where, and with the superplex, he did a superplex on Large Sullivan, and other cool things. And then eventually Large Sullivan just kind of hit him with the freak accident, which is just a sidewalk slam or something like that, I guess. It's not a finisher, so...
the way he gets some additional elevation on it, like, he holds them really high, so I actually don't have a problem with that as a finisher.
Yeah,
I do think it's... You could have done something better, but I do buy it as a finisher.
I'd give him the backdrop driver, but I'm biased, so... And then we had... I think there was more promo shit in here, so I didn't write it down.
We had a couple of hype packages, but we had a Tyler Bate promo, which was pretty standard Tyler Bate promo.
Young Master Bate. And then we had Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate, which was very fucking good. Again, best thing you can do is apparently just let UK people wrestle, because you can't book anything else right. So I don't have any notes for for the match. I just enjoyed watching it, and it was quite good. Did Pete Dunne... Or did Tyler Bate legitimately have a dislocated finger, or did he just sell that really well?
I think he may have legitimately had it, because the camera caught Pete Dunne for a moment looking like a hint of concern. Like, he covered it up well, but like he had like that moment of, shit, I may have actually hurt him.
Yeah, exactly.
Which makes no real sense. Like, it would make sense if you had two faces going head to head and he didn't mean to hurt him, but like Pete Dunne's character is, I hurt you. That's what I do. So... Yeah. If it was staged, he wouldn't have had any remorse. So I would say,
Yeah.
I think there was a legit finger dislocation there.
That is very possible. So I just couldn't tell. Last time I saw a dislocated finger, the thing was taken straight up out of the dude's hand, and did not look like that.
There was also the fact that he had to try to relocate. Like I think it was a bit of both, because he did 3 fingers that he relocated, and the first 2 relocated fine, which makes me think that that was intentional. But on the third one was when it came in, because it took him like 3 or 4 tries to actually reset that finger, and that's the one I think that one legitimately dislocated.
Yeah. So it was just a whole bunch of good stuff. They both hit their finishers, so at some point during the match, you're really not sure who's going to win because they both kicked out of each other's finisher, and it was just highly enjoyable. I enjoyed all of the enjoyableness.
I'll just fill in a little bit more. Like you said, Bate got to kick out of the bitter end relatively early in the match, and later in the match, Bate got his move, Tiger Driver 97, kicked out of. They had a bit where Bate could have won by countout, but the announcer's like, "No, kid, no, you gotta get back in there. You gotta get back in there. You can't win the title that way." So he eventually, instead of just going to the outside and dragging him in, he dives to the outside and drags him back in. That was pretty good. I like that. The literal only problem I have with the match was, and it was on the commentator, there was a bit where they were going like punch for punch, and Nigel McGuinness threw out the Fry Takayama comparison, and I'm like,
it's like the third week in a row they've done that.
That's not what this is. Leave the MMA analogies to Mauro Ranallo, please, Nigel. He's the one that was there. Let him handle that.
Yeah, like I said, this is the third week in a row they've done that exact reference. I'm pretty sure. If not, then it's been pretty close.
The other ones were done better, though. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the Fry Taka, it's basically a hockey fight.
Pretty much for 2 rounds.
If you're gonna do the hockey fight, you can use that. I'm fine with that reference. But this was like straight boxing style punches being exchanged. I'm like, that's not Fry Takayama. That's Brian Stan, Chris Lieben. That would work.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the end, Bate got pinned with the bitter end, and Dunn retains the title. So this is a fantastic match, and it ended the show on a high note that, like, the in-ring work on this show was really good, but the pacing was not very good, and the overuse of promos wasn't very good.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of promos, boy, a lot of promos.
So, yeah, NXT was pretty good. So, we have any news we want to tack on to the end of this?
Well, we already talked about Ambrose. He's going to be out probably past WrestleMania. Orton apparently is going to take some time off after the Rumble.
So he's not winning?
Yeah. Not 2 years in a row? Yeah. Trish Stratus has teased a return for the Rumble, which I'm hoping doesn't happen. And what else is out there? I don't know. I think that might be it. Oh, there's continued XFL stuff going on.
A couple other women have talked about possibly coming back for the Rumble. I know Beth Phoenix has said some things about maybe returning.
And Kelly Kelly.
And, Vince McMahon has re-trademarked the XFL stuff.
Apparently he sold $100 million worth of stock.
That would lead to less power in WWE for the McMahon family.
Considerable amounts, yes.
So it looks like he's going for this XFL thing a little bit strongly. I'm gonna say that I don't think that a rival football league can work in the States because a number have tried and failed pretty horribly. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not even an anti-Vince McMahon, anti-WWE thing. I just don't think it could work. I think.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong. I mean, well, to be honest, if it's going to be like an on-field football league, there's the Arena Football League, but
there's every so often there's a couple other ones that pop up. I think there's one currently operating in like the southern states that is technically competition.
Yeah,
but I think what it comes down to, and I think it's just a sport fact here, is that I can't think of many times where a league has managed to establish itself in someone's backyard. Like, there is one English Premier League. You know, there's a tier system of, like, you know, to get there, but there's one top English football league, there's one top Spanish football league, etc. And the same for pretty much anything else. Like, there's the NBA, there's MLB, and nothing else really establishes itself in the backyard. And until that happens, I'm convinced I don't think it can happen.
Well, there's always a talk that, you know, avoid being a direct competitor. You just do it like a spring league. But I
don't think Vince McMahon would do that. I think Vince's ego, mindset, etc. is he's going to try to compete, or he's not going to do it. Like, I think that's what it boils down to.
Yeah, I think he'll have to actually listen to business people, so that will be fun. But I don't know what's going to happen. I am hoping that he devotes a lot of time and energy to this and leaves wrestling alone, so that we can doesn't
try to ban the one fall chant.
Yeah, that's the other one I was going to bring up. So, I want him to dedicate the rest of his miserable life to that particular thing, so he can stop fucking up wrestling so bad. And and also stopping. Apparently, he hates the one fall chant when the announcers say it, because he doesn't want people to be enthusiastic or engaged with his product.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all I can really think of. Nothing else really comes to mind. Nothing really on the Lucha Underground front. Nothing really happening in Impact right now.
Apparently a lot of people are just, like, up and ready to leave. Like, and Rockstar Spud apparently will be debuting soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, apparently EC3 and Lashley's contracts will be up this winter, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I suspect that a lot of people will leave, and I believe that it's the decision of the company to go to this whole non-exclusivity contracts, which in theory are good, but if you're someone like Bobby Lashley, for example, who I don't think really has any interest in doing independent dates, like he wanted to use his time away from Impact to do MMA. That was kind of his gig. So if you're going to offer him less money, which I assume you're going to offer him less money because you're not throwing the exclusivity clause in there, he'll probably walk. I could see Ethan Carter maybe staying.
Yeah, there's so many other things he could be doing.
There is, which is why it wouldn't surprise me if he leaves. But, like, Lashley's the one I'm like, yeah, Lashley's gone. I don't see any reason why he would resign.
Yeah.
But, you know what? Impact refuses to die, so...
Pretty much.
Go for it.
The only other thing I think to talk about, I'll probably just mention briefly, is apparently Richard O'Shea and War Machine have both signed contracts for the Wobbly Wobbly Bees, so they'll be in Impact, or they'll be in NXT soon.
Ooh, War Machine versus Heavy Machinery, War Machine versus Authors of Pain. Delicious.
Correct.
So that's fun, although they'll waste Ricochet.
Totally.
I actually suspect they'll probably waste War Machine as well, but
they will turn him into
the chances
War Machine. War Machine will be the new what are those guys again? Demolition? No. Road Warriors? No. They're the best. Yeah, those guys.
Yeah, probably. That is probably where they're destined to end up.
Yep.
And yeah, I don't have faith in WWE use cruiserweights properly at all, so I have no faith in use Ricochet well.
Correct. And on that bombshell, I need to pee. I'm going to the bathroom.
All right, well, get off of Byron's lawn, and we'll talk to you next week. Or he'll pee on you.